Shelby Sue wanted to get married at a chapel, but says she regrets giving in to Robert's plans for an outdoor wedding.
The preacher showed up as a hillbilly in overalls and this long greasy beard and flip-flops, and people were fishing everywhere around us when we got married.
It was a creek?
It was more like a river, Your Honor.
A river?
It was a river.
And now Shelby says she wants out because Robert smothers her with too much attention.
You know, he would call me on a regular basis, once a day, twice a day, something like that when we first met. He showed a lot of affection towards me, but after we got married, it was more like 15 to 20 times a day.
You wanted a man that showed you attention.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
you didn't have that, and you hadn't had it, and you said you were desperate for it. Now you got it, and you don't want it.
Today, Shelby Sue Young and Robert Young bring their case before Judge Maybelline in divorce court, where real couples deal with real life.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
This is a matter of Shelby Sue Young versus Robert Young. And I understand you've been married for 4 months. And you want a divorce. You want him to pay you $1,000 for the cost of moving. And the marriage is ending because your husband is too controlling and he's smothering. You said, I just love my wife and I show her attention, and I thought that's what she wanted, and I didn't see anything wrong with the husband showing his wife attention.
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't want this divorce.
No, ma'am.
How long did you know this man before you married this man?
I known him for about 5 months. Your Honor, I just want a divorce from this man because I just can't take it anymore. He is too jealous, he is too possessive, and I feel like he's obsessed with me. And I should have figured it out from our hillbilly wedding that we had.
Hillbilly wedding?
Yes, our hillbilly wedding. My dream wedding was to be in a chapel somewhere, and I had suggested Vegas, but that wasn't where we ended up. We ended up in Tennessee. I agreed to have it outside at a waterfall, but instead we were at a national park, and the preacher showed up as a hillbilly in overalls and this long greasy beard and flip-flops, and people were fishing everywhere around us when we got married. And
Did he just go pull a preacher off the street or something?
He made the arrangements that morning.
That morning? What, Tennessee doesn't require a license or advance notice or anything?
We did. It took about 2 minutes to get a license.
Oh, so you all just decided to do this all of a sudden?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, the date kept going up
Okay,
and up
explain
and
that
up.
to me. How we get to you going to pull a preacher that morning?
That's not true, Your Honor. In the chalet where we stayed at in the mountain, there was a book, and it listed several of the wedding companies, or the ordained ministers. And this happened to be one that jumped out and had made several calls. And what happened was we basically had decided on this one after talking to a couple of them, and one of the things that Shelby wanted was to have an outdoor wedding and to have a waterfall in the background.
It wasn't
that's
a
what I
waterfall,
gave her.
Your Honor. It
So
wasn't
what
a
was it?
waterfall. It was
there any water around?
There was water, but it was running over rocks.
It was a creek?
It was more like a river, Your Honor.
A river?
It was a river.
So who was at the wedding ceremony?
My children and Robert and the hillbilly and people fishing.
How many children?
I have 2.
So your 2 kids, your husband, you, and the preacher, and the folks fishing.
Some people fishing, and their kids fishing, and a couple of onlookers from their fishing. They were just, no.
Okay, so what turned you all on to each other? How'd you connect in the first place then?
Your Honor, I met Robert and at his work where he sells motorcycles, and he asked me if I wanted to take a ride, and I said, yeah, but not right now. And so what I did was I took his card, and I called him about a month later to go for that ride. And I was really desperate at the time. I had just gotten divorced. I was married for 15 years before this.
Desperate for what?
For attention, love. I just felt
Sex.
unloved. Sex. And what happened was we met and we started dating. He showed a lot of affection towards me, and that's one thing that I liked about him, but then it got to be too much. And it got to be a possessive, almost obsessed type of love.
Okay,
and
now
that's where
explain
it
that.
turned.
Explain that. How do you get to be too much and obsessed type?
Okay, it got to where he called me. He would call me on a regular basis, once a day, twice a day, something like that when we first met. After we got married, it was more like 15 to 20 times a day.
When you at work?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, that's a little bit of exaggeration. It
It's
was
not
4 and 5,
exaggerating.
maybe 6 times a day.
It's not exaggerating.
But it was
6
back and
messages.
forth.
But you didn't like it anymore?
No, I didn't like it anymore, and I told him that, but it didn't stop. I never had any space from him. He would come in, from the moment he would come in the house, if I didn't stop what I was doing and drop everything and come up to him and give him a hug, a kiss, and go sit down with him and just let him just hug me or touch my hair and just let him be that close to me, there was a problem, and he acted like a kid and was
just
upset.
exaggeration.
What would he do if you didn't do that?
Then he would sew up and pout.
Let me hear your point of view on this.
Well, Your Honor, what happened was when I would come in and Shelby would be already home, all I wanted was just a welcome home kiss or a hug. That's all.
But
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
It was more than that. I would stop what I was doing. I would give him a hug and a kiss and then go back to folding clothes. That's what I was doing. But that wasn't enough.
But now you wanted a man that showed you attention.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
you didn't have that, and you hadn't had
But I
it,
didn't
and
need
you
it
said
all
you
day.
were desperate for it. Now you
didn't.
got it, and you don't want it.
I didn't need it all day. I needed
You only
it.
wanted it when you wanted it.
Yes.
When divorce court continues, what does Shelby's 15-year-old daughter, Crystal, have to say about her stepfather?
Who's this young lady?
This is my daughter, Crystal.
You jealous of her, too? Come on, Crystal, talk to me.
If you would like to have... Divorce court continues with the case of Shelby Sue Young, who testified her husband is insecure and calls her 20 times a day.
What kind of work did you do?
I work for a corporate event planning company, and I deal blackjack, I deal craps, I deal roulette, I deal Texas Hold'em.
Well,
and
they
that was a problem, too, that I had with him, is the jealousy of my work. If I would go to work, let me give you some examples. I would go to work, and he sometimes would go to work and work as a part-time dealer with my company. All right? There'll be a man that'll come to my table. I'm very pretty. There's going to be men comes up to my table. And
That's why the company hired you.
That's right. So the men come up to my table and they want to play at my table. The song came on, a real good song. It was by Vanilla Ice. And it's one of my favorite songs, and I know it word for word. I grew up on that song, and this gentleman knows the words too. And here I am singing it, and we're getting into this song, and I'm dancing, and he's dancing, and I look over at this table, I'm just singing, and I'm cleaning up, and I look, and there's Robert. And I just sort of stopped singing with that guy and just started cleaning up a little bit. And I was like, oh,
It's like,
no.
stop having your fun
Here
and
we
enjoying
go
yourself.
again. All right, well, he didn't speak to me at all in that casino, but when we left, then it was the third-degree questions. Who was that? Why were you singing with him? Why are you flirting? Do you need that from other men? And I said, I don't see these people after 2 hours again, ever. This is my job. This is what I do.
Okay, what
and
about
this
that,
is
Mr. Young?
overboard.
Well, it's once again, Your Honor, a little bit of exaggeration, okay? It wasn't exactly that dramatic and all of that, but it was the way that it was being carried on.
But didn't you know the nature of her work?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
Okay, who's this young lady?
This is my daughter, Crystal.
He jealous of her, too?
He's jealous of the time that I spend with her a lot.
Come on, Crystal, talk to me.
Okay. Well, homecoming day came, and this is so special to me. It's the first homecoming I've ever been to. So I went and got really pretty the whole day, and he called her, kept calling her the whole day.
While Mom was trying to take you to
Yeah.
get your hair done, your nails, and
Yeah,
your dress.
just something between me and her that we're supposed to be doing. And, well, I wanted a picture with my dad that day, and he wanted to go or something like that, and I didn't even get to go see my dad. My boyfriend's mom had to take me to go see my dad, Your Honor.
He wouldn't let your mom take you to see your dad?
He was jealous that, I think he was jealous that my mom was going to talk to my dad.
Wow.
I got a picture.
Let me see that homecoming dress, girl.
She did. She looked very beautiful, Your Honor. I was very proud of her.
Woohoo, yeah. Look like you're about to get married. It's in a homecoming.
This is a beautiful dress, and we spent the whole day. And he did, if Robert hadn't been off work, he'd have been right there. He wouldn't have gave us that time. He called every 30 minutes. He wanted to know what I was doing next, It was a big problem.
Wow.
In my mind, the way that it should have been was her escort that was driving, because her boyfriend only has a learner's license, should have stopped by at that time on the way to the homecoming dance.
So you saw it. That's the way you saw it.
Exactly.
But
yes.
it's her mother and her planning. Why do they have to do it your way?
Not about planning.
Why
I just thought that
why
was
they
the way
have
to
to do it your way? That's what you thought.
Okay.
Obviously, they didn't think that was the way to do it.
Well, obviously.
When divorce court returns, what's the house rule that pushed Robert's stepdaughter over the edge?
I mean, I never really hated Robert, and I really never did like him, but I just didn't really like some of the rules he had to follow.
What kind of rules did he have?
The one that got on my nerves so bad, Your Honor.
Divorce court returns with the case of Shelby Sue Young, who testified her husband is insecure and jealous of the time she spends with her 15-year-old daughter, Crystal.
Okay, what else?
Okay, there was just, I mean, I never really hated Robert, and I really never did like him, but I just didn't really like some of the rules he had to follow.
What kind of rules did he have?
The one that got on my nerves so bad, Your Honor, was about the bathroom light. It had to be turned off if nobody was in there. Well, one day we were going to church, right? Everybody was out in the car, ready to go, except for Robert. He was still in the house, and we were running late. So here he comes finally out there, and he turns around and he just puts on this big smile. He says, "Crystal, go turn off your bathroom light." And I was like, dude, you were just now in there. Why couldn't you have turned it off yourself? So they started getting an argument about that, and it was a big issue between the bathroom light. And some other things I didn't like was about, he's kind of a clean freak, kind of. And, well, me and my mom, she taught me how to make a chocolate pie. Well, we were making it, and I was going to put it back on the counter, and it fell on the carpet. And I scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed for about 30 minutes because I was so worried that Robert was going to find out. And my mom was like keeping an eye out for him to come in, and I was scrubbing and scrubbing. So afraid that he would find out.
You guys are scared to death because you had an accident and dropped some chocolate on the floor.
We're not allowed to eat anywhere in the house except for the
That's one of the
kitchen
rules.
table.
You can't eat nowhere except for in the kitchen.
Wow. You moved into his house, I take it?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Go on, Mr. Young.
Would you like to hear from me, Your Honor?
I sure
Okay,
would.
well, here we go. I found out that that they had been cleaning, and that she was so worried and concerned, both of them were, but I never ever said anything about it. I knew it was cleaned up. It was okay. It's right there in the dining room outside of the kitchen. Accidents happen. Accidents happen, and things can be cleaned. Things can be replaced. But think about it. I never complained about it. I never said anything. I
they were
didn't go
just scared.
berserk. I didn't instill that in them.
What about the bathroom light?
The bathroom light, in all honesty, Your Honor, both of us, Shelby and me, would both tell the kids, turn off the bathroom light. There's nobody in there.
I
It's
understand.
their bathroom.
But you're in the car, they're in the car, you're in the house, you see the light still
This
on.
was months. This wasn't the first day, Your Honor. This was months later. This was months of leaving the light on. So I had the idea, well, you know what, if maybe if I tell Crystal to go back in and turn it off, then maybe the next time before she leaves,
She'll think about it.
she'll think about turning off the bathroom light.
But I
I don't
didn't even
think there's
turn it
something
on.
so wrong with that.
It doesn't matter who turned the
It was
darn
my
light
little
on,
brother
turn
that
it
turned
off.
I didn't see it, Your
But
Honor.
we were late for church, and it made
Oh,
us even
you
twice as
guys
late.
are being silly over that now. Come on, come on. Children have to learn rules,
Exactly.
and they have to learn responsibility. And he's trying to teach him that you turn the lights out because light bills are high.
That particular time, the way he turned around and grinned really big at her, like, get out of the car and go turn the
Right,
light
because
off.
I'm about to inconvenience
It
your
was,
little behind
it was
and get
more
you out
not
the car and go turn
discipline.
it off.
It was more...
Because maybe if I inconvenience you, you won't forget the next time.
Exactly, because it caused a big scene, and I didn't even want to go to church. I was like, let's go to the next service.
It didn't
It's
need
too
to be
late.
a big scene. It caused a big scene because Mama didn't back him because all she should have said was, get on in there and turn it out. That's all.
When divorce court continues, did Shelby have any concerns about becoming Robert's 5th wife?
Did you realize you were about to be number 5?
But he made it sound like everybody left him.
You thought he was going to say something nice to get number 5?
I know.
Of course they left him. And now you know why.
Court continues with the case of Shelby Sue Young, who testified she's divorcing her husband after 4 months of marriage because he's clingy and needy.
The real problem is you, Mama, and you. Not you. It's your second marriage, a third, or whatever. What is it?
Second.
Second. What number is it for you?
5.
5. Yes. Your Honor, but also alone...
Did you realize that you were about to be number 5?
Not when I first met him, no. Not after we dated, no. It was a little after we dated that he's told me about that. I
Okay,
knew
fine,
he
but you
married,
realized you were about to be number 5.
I did, yes.
At that point, you were supposed to back up.
But he made it sound like everybody left him.
And what other way is he supposed to make it sound?
Well, he said everybody left him, and all he wanted was
I want another woman, and I've had 4 marriages. How do I get this woman? Honey, I was the best man there was. Those other women, that woman was stupid. My first wife, let me tell you something. She was silly. She just was lazy. She wouldn't do anything. That second one, she was mean. She was evil. That third one was like, you thought he was going to say something nice to get number 5?
I know.
Of course they left him. And now you know why. You glad, huh, Krista? Nope, you don't like all the rules. That's why you glad. You got a man in the house to give you some rules. You're a 15-year-old and you don't want all those rules. I know why you're glad. I think you all just made a mistake. What you want from him?
I want him to pay my moving expenses because I felt like he had suffocated me and so much that I had to move. I had to get
I never
away.
asked her to move. She left on her own accord. I asked her that Thursday morning, and we had talked about what it was that she wanted to do, but she also said, I want us to continue to date. I want us to continue to see each other. I want to come over and hang out with you while I'm trying to figure out who I am and what I'm doing. Well, once she was gone,
Different story.
gone.
So you lied to him, huh?
I didn't want to hurt him, Your Honor. I'd hurt him enough by marrying him and
Yeah, but
and
you
leaving
really
him.
hurt him when you give him hope and you lie and you know you weren't being honest about it. Now, haven't you already moved?
Yes, I've already moved.
And you paid the money?
Yes, I paid everything to have everything. Somebody moved me, moved all my things. I had to sell all my furniture. Well, I mean, I had to, of course, but we used it on a cruise. And
Why you sell all your furniture?
because
My house was already
His
furnished.
house was already
So
furnished.
you had to start all over furnishing your place?
Yes, I had to start all over. But he helped spend the money. So I feel like he should pay half at least.
Which kid needs a bed?
My son.
Buy the son a bed. Buy him a bedroom set. She sold everything to come move with you. All right, that's all I'm going to order.
Thank you, Your
That's the
Honor.
order of the court. Court's adjourned.
All rise.
Krista, I hope you're learning something from this, huh? Don't make the same mistake, all right?
Don't learn.
Parties may leave the courtroom.
See, you hadn't been calling me so much, we might have could have worked things out.
Well, I can't believe you're still not willing to try.
I can't try.
I mean, you
smother
don't
me
even
too
want to.
much.
You don't even want to try. Well, how
can't.
about if you just give me an opportunity? Won't you even do that? You say that you need
I
a little
gotta
bit
have,
of time.
I gotta have space, and you just need to back off and let
well,
me be.
If I do that, okay, I don't have a problem with doing that
Okay.
at all.
All right.
But I don't.
I still want to go to my friends, and I want to be able
Well,
to do
you can
that
do
without
that.
you being
But
upset.
you don't have to just take and flush the toilet and